Hi there, Mayflom here, and I'm super excited today to share with you this quick little video featuring, this is my new Let's Go kit with 28 Lilac Lane, and I've spotted it in stores online and all around, so you can find it now. It's shipping, it's out there. It's a lot of fun. This is one of my favorites. It's got beads, it's got pearls, sequins, buttons, twine, and a great little camera charm too. Isn't that cute? So what I love about this is, and why I made this in these colors is, I always find browns and aquas and yellows to be really great, and gold to be super, super fun colors for travel pages of all sorts, because depending on where I'm going or what I'm doing, these are colors that tend to follow me around. They're colors I tend to use. Of course, you can mix and match this with any of the mixes. I mean, it would be great with, like, here are some metallic sequins it'd be fun with. It'd be fun with some, if you want to add more brown, if you wanted to add in other colors or white or green, mix and match. Do whatever you like. There's no rules when it comes to these kits. What I'm going to do right now is just quickly make a scrapbook layout. So I've got a couple of 4x6 photos here, and I've got some cardstock as well as some pattern paper. This is a Crepe Paper Oasis paper, and this is just a textured cardstock. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of set up my photos and title and journaling, and then we'll get to the fun part, which is adding all the buttons and embellishments. When I want to take advantage of a lot of fun embellishments, I like to keep my design simple. So I've got my 4x6 photos here on a 12x7 piece of pattern paper. I've got my little card here that I just grabbed out of my stash. With my journaling, I've got my title down. So with all that set, I'm ready to embellish, and I can just pull this out. I know I want to use this camera. This camera is so cute, and I feel like it'll be just the perfect touch. And by the way, guys, don't worry about mixing and matching your metals, silver and gold, all that kind of stuff. Absolutely fine to do. So I'm going to pull out and just kind of look at and see if there's some stickers that I like. For example, I like to add different shapes and different elements, and I'm thinking that maybe I want to add a circle here, or part of it perhaps, and just play around with some flat embellishments, some stickers, some die cuts, that kind of thing, and see what I've got that will work. And the reason I like to do that is because before I put some dimensional embellishment, I like to build some layers. And I think that would be really nice, kind of have something going up there. That should stick all back down. And I'm not quite sure where I'm going to put the camera yet, assuming that I find a good spot for it. You know, if I don't find a good spot for an embellishment, I don't force it. That's definitely something for sure. With the scrapbooking, I don't ever want to do that. And once you are happy with the flat embellishments, that's when I like to build in with dimensional ones. And on a scrapbook page, I like to keep it pretty light for the most part, because I've got my pictures here, and I've got my story and my title and everything else. So for me, it's more about what fits in, what will add to my page or my project, and what do I like, but that's not going to just totally, like, this is just, that one's too big for that spot. So what do I have that I like that will work well, but that's not going to take things over? That's not going to create something that's just so big that it's just no longer, it's just taking over, and I don't like my page anymore, or I'm not happy with elements. I don't want any of that, of course. So I find that working here so that I'm, just so that I'm sure what I've got and what I like, and, nice and slow, no rush. We don't want to be in a rush and do something where we're going, oh, well, now I don't love this scrapbook page anymore because of X, Y, or Z. And then I like to throw in, like, I've got these little beads in the kit here, so I'll throw some little beads in here and there, just sprinkle on some little fun. And I've got this piece up here. I'll need a little button. So, and there's a couple of buttons. That's not a button from this kit. That got, every once in a while when it gets wild in here, sometimes things from one kit end up in another. So I like a little button here, and maybe a little sequin, little green sequin perhaps. A few little things here, and then maybe some glitter glue. So I'm just gonna play around with this a little bit until I'm happy with the arrangement. And really for this, guys, you just want to make sure that you're not putting a ton of liquid adhesive in one spot at one time. You want to do that so that you don't accidentally, oh, and this is just really, really stuck. You just want to not do that, because if you put too much liquid adhesive on your scrapbook layout at one spot at one time, what's going to happen is you're going to get your paper, and mine's warping just a little bit right here. If you get just a tiny, tiny bit of warping, you don't need to worry about it. It's going to naturally go back down. I mean, this is just a very, very tiny amount right there where I'm pushing down. You don't need to worry about it excessively, but it is something to be aware of, because you do want to kind of try to avoid going too much adhesive. You know, you're better off to just put a very small amount, or work so that you're putting a little bit down, then maybe moving to a different area until it's dry, then come back to add more if more is needed. Just kind of be aware that, you know, especially like this dotted cardstock is a very thin cardstock, so it doesn't take a lot of adhesive before it starts to get a little upset, before it starts to think, oh, this is all too much for me. But I can put a little more, say, on the stickers, the cardstock stickers, with the coating that they have and everything. They're pretty resistant to warping with a lot of liquid adhesive. So that's just something to keep in mind that you may want to be aware of. And the other thing is when you're working with little embellishments and stuff, you want to try to avoid any little strange little gaps. Like I have kind of a strange little gap here where if I'm going to have things on the corner and things over here, it, you know, really wouldn't make sense. We'd want things to be together. So if that happens, or if you notice, you know what, that doesn't quite fit, then you can adjust. Now, if you're using PPA like I am, it's a matte finish adhesive, so it's really nice because you've got a little bit of time, but also it dries slowly. It doesn't dry instantly. So you've got a little bit of time, but also when it dries, it's completely matte and clear. So you won't really notice it. You won't really see it there once it's done. And finally here, we'll want to look at if there are areas. I'm going to add some black stitching on here, but are there any other areas that we want to embellish? I've got a lot going on here for my Gryffindor house, but do I want to add anything else? Do I want to add in something up here with the flat? Do I want to add another layer up here? For example, I could perhaps add maybe a banner to go, whoops, off to the side. No, not really. I could perhaps add something at the very top or at the very bottom. You know, do I want to add anything down here at the very bottom? No, not really. So if I'm happy with it, and I am, what I'm going to do is just stitch in black all the way around to pull this together. Black's going to be a great contrast for all the grays and the soft greens and yellows and all of that that's in this layout. If you're happy with everything, if you're thinking, oh, okay, well, I love the way I love everything I've got. I think everything looks great. I'm super, super happy. Well, then guess what? That's the time to stop. I feel like I wish I had a few more little embellishments. So I'm kind of trying to come up with, you know, what could I do to add a little more embellishing here. So as I'm working on that, I'm trying to think of, I'd like something with a little bigger, maybe like this yellow button that I'm playing with right here. The problem is I'm not finding a spot where I really love the yellow button. Everywhere I put it, it feels a little too big. And when that happens, you know, I do have the two bigger pink flowers. I think we're okay where we're at, you know, and sometimes that's the case. So sometimes it doesn't take much, but you know what? Let's have a lot of fun. This first scrapbook layout I've made with that particular kit, and had a lot of fun with some really beautiful papers that I like. Loving the page. This will go with a whole bunch of pictures. I've been liking in my scrapbook to make a page, take some time, sit down, make a page, have a good time, put some dimensional embellishments on it. Then what I will do is in my scrapbook have a couple pages just photos, or maybe pocket page style where there's maybe one little card that's got decoration, but mostly photos. And I've been really enjoying that because I'm getting more scrapbooking caught up, but I'm also having fun of doing details, but maybe I don't need to make a page for all 100 Wizarding World of Harry Potter pictures that we've got. All right, well, I hope you have enjoyed this little video. If you have any questions, comments, or requests for future, be sure to let me know. I'll see you next time.